Hey, I'm Nicole, Sixth Opinion veterinarian, here with a particularly tough case that was brought to me today from a local bulldog rescue. This is Squat. He is only 8 months old, and as you can see, he's absolutely miserable. Terribly itchy, he's got infection all over. He's been through it, so all I know is that around 5 months of age, he was vaccinated, had his normal checkup, was healthy. 2 weeks later, got really sick. Started having crusty lesions on his head, and that progressed everywhere in his body. He's had multiple antibiotics. He's been on prednisone. He's on prednisone now. He's been on Apoquel, which is a medication that helps with itch. And he's really just there you go. He just continues to get worse. And so they did a skin culture, which I think is smart. It tested positive for Pseudomonas, which is a particularly nasty bacteria that we see when an infection has become chronic. And then also they biopsied his skin. And so they were expecting to see an autoimmune condition, which I encourage them to come in because autoimmune conditions are one of the things that we can really make a difference on most of the time. I'm not sure what we're dealing with. The biopsy did not show autoimmune condition, so when it doesn't show a true autoimmune condition, I have to go in at the cellular level on the biopsy and actually see what cells are at play here. So I'm looking at having to deal with lymphocytes, eosinophils. There's a suppurative process, which is basically deep infection. But this is way beyond allergies or anything like that. So there's something really radically wrong with this poor puppy. He's shivering, he's absolutely miserable, which is why I'm really kind of down and sad right now. This is really heartbreaking to see. So I don't know if I can make him better, but I'm certainly going to try. And so what people come to me for are all these kind of hard things, and so I've got to figure out what, after seeing 6 vets, like what were they missing? What could possibly be missing? Because everyone's done everything right, so it's my job to kind of go in and go, okay, one, how did this start? So the only information I have about where it started was 2 weeks after a vaccine. So whether or not the vaccine started this, I have no idea, but it's going to be top of my list. So we are going to do a vaccine detox on him. And I have incredible results with that. So we're going to pull that stuff out of his system and see if his immune system can recover. We did a new cytology on him. So even though I'm considered a holistic vet, like I'm looking at everything start to finish. So we just looked at a cytology in the microscope, and what I'm seeing are little circular bacteria, lots of them, which is not consistent with his culture. So he's being treated for something on his culture that should look like long rods, but I'm seeing cocci, so I'm actually wondering if we're missing some type of bacteria. So that's another thing I'm thinking about. One of my other questions was, has his dog just been treated for scabies? So they can get really nasty mite infections. So the one that we hear about the most is Demodex. Demodex is one that causes hair loss, a little bit itchy, but we think of like a mangy mutt, they can get really nasty with sarcoptic mange, and it's really hard to test for it. So if I think a dog could have mange, I've got to just treat them. And what do I treat them with? I treat them with pesticides. Like I've got to go in and kill the bugs. So what breaks my heart is one of my differentials for this dog coming in today was a pesticide toxicity. So another thing I see that causes really weird stuff is pesticide toxicity, where they've been exposed to some kind of heavy levels of pesticides, usually in the yards and things like that, or a medication that maybe someone has scripted out for them. So what I'm seeing is I'm actually not in his presence seeing any evidence of chemical toxicity or pesticide toxicity. I'm really worried about scabies. So in my mind, I feel like he's gonna die if we don't take care of this. So I feel like I'm gonna have to treat his scabies, but I'm worried because I'm actually putting more chemicals in his body. But this is life or death right now, so I've gotta treat the things that we have a possibility of really treating. So I think I'm gonna treat him for scabies today and see if that could be something so simple that we might have missed along the way. And then we've got to consider the fact that we're not fully taking care of his bacterial infection. And then I always consider with anything weird tick illness. For reasons I won't get into today because this is a really complicated case, I'm not seeing any evidence of tick bites on him. So my gut feeling is that that's not the problem, and I don't think it's autoimmune. I feel like there's some kind of toxicity issue here. So either a vaccine brought this on, or scabies brought this on, or all this stuff on him has brought this on. So I'm going to try to simplify things the best I can, and then we're going to try him some herbal formulas, because I'm not sure what else to do with him right now. So we've got to just try a couple things and see what happens. So one of the things I do, what I have found is really incredible when you have a really confusing case like this, when you're dealing with herbs. Herbs are food, and so they crave what they need. And so I will let him pick his supplements, which sounds crazy, but it has made my job over the last 10 years so much easier having them choose. So I'm gonna have him look at a couple formulas. It also gives me an idea of what he feels like he needs, is gonna also give me the answer on where I need to go for him. So, so the first one I'm looking at is just a skin support. So, I'm just gonna have him smell it. He's pretty tired right now. What you think, Bubba? Oh, you're sleeping. Hi, Muffin. You want to get up and play? Oh, honey. Hi. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's just so miserable. You're so sad, bud. Let's see if we can't wake him up a little bit, Kaylee. Hey, bud. Hi. I know.
You see your eyeball open?
Hey. You want to see? Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. So he's actually literally feels so bad he's sleeping right now. This is so terrible.
Buddy.
So let me see if I can wake him up so I can do this, because this is going to help me a lot. So. Hi, buddy. Hey, pumpkin. I know it. Yes. Oh, is it a liver tree? Is it a liver tree? Yes, good. No, wow, it really feels that bad. So anyway, so I'm actually gonna give him a break. I'm gonna run some tests and get some medication started for him and get a plan for him, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna look at the herbs here in a few minutes once he's feeling a little bit better, and see if he can't pick his own. So. Should we try some medicine? All right, so this is my dermal support. If they like it, they'll generally try to eat it. Do you fall back asleep? I'm kind of excited about it. Okay, that's derm support. This is immune support. Ooh, I'm scared. Yeah, okay. So that's definitely my winner. So what that tells me is his body's more worried about his immune system than his skin, which when you look at him, you think, how can that be possible? So that tells me a lot right now. This is my detox herb for the skin. So this tells me if they've been on anything that's actually causing, sorry, I spelled it out at you. If it's causing something that's got chemicals in the skin, and he really didn't care about. This is for liver support. I would not be at all surprised if he feels the need to have some liver support. Are you falling asleep again? Hey, you want to see what I feel about that? Yeah, it's kind of okay. All right, one more. This one usually does not smell very good. His body's on fire right now. Like, he's just radiating heat, and this one actually clears heat. You're falling asleep. Oh.
I know. I'm sorry. I need to wake you up.
We're gonna get you all treated. Hey, Lovey. Hi. Oh my God. All right, try one more, okay? Hey. Maybe not this one. It's kind of whatever. So really immune system, just kind of what my gut feeling is. So we went through his records more and found that he was on an oral flea and tick prevention that is not labeled to treat scabies mites here in the States, but it is in other countries. And so I would put scabies less on my list. So at this point, we are going to make sure we take care of his terrible infection. We're going to detox the vaccines out of him, and we're going to drop his pred down because he's on a ton of pred right now. So we're going to try to get rid of the immune suppressive drugs and see if we can't get his body to naturally start fighting this thing off. So just send your prayers for this little one, because this is definitely as bad as they get. So we're going to do our best, and we'll we'll keep you posted on how he does.